Hi guys, welcome back to the 411 Mamas. Today's video is going to be a discussion topic, pretty much a video about anything that we want to discuss for the week. And the topic that I wanted to share or talk about is co-sleeping. I know that this topic may be controversial for some people, and honestly, co-sleeping is basically on your preference and your personal situations or experiences, and it may not work for everybody, but in my experience and my husband's experience, it has worked for our family. I'm sure as you know, we have 3 kids, and my eldest is 4.5, and we've been co-sleeping with all 3 of our kids for the past 4.5 years. And although it may sound crazy and just unthinkable for some people, it works for us, and we really enjoy it. And what is the term? Is it co-family bed, co-family sleeping, or whatever? But to this day, we are co-sleeping with 3 of them: my 4.5-year-old, my almost 3-year-old, and my 18-month-old. Going back to when I had my first child, Emmeline, 4.5 years ago, when I was pregnant, I honestly did not see myself co-sleeping with my baby, especially when I brought her home. She was so tiny and so fragile, and I was always, even just as a first-time mom, I was even just scared holding her and going down and up, the stairs, yet alone worrying about her sleeping in the bed next to me, and the fear of like rolling on her or whatnot, and all the the dangers that obviously are warned if you do try to co-sleep with your child. But it just ended up happening gradually. Initially, she was in her bassinet for at least a few weeks, if I can remember correctly, and I was nursing, and it just gradually happened that I would nurse her to sleep, and I would just kind of end up laying her on the bed next to me. And of course, she was an infant at the time, and she was swaddled, so I didn't have the fear of like the blanket going on her. And I only had like a light blanket that would be very far away from her, and I never was much to the type, and still to this day not the type, to ever like pull the blanket all the way up. I would just kind of leave it down by my legs, but she would be high enough, like close to my face, that I felt comfortable with it. And I've always been pretty much a light sleeper, and my husband has always said I've never really been much to like move around too much when I sleep. I know some people toss and turn a lot. I think my husband does that more than I do, but not really a lot. And he would always make sure to sleep on the other side, and it would be me and then the baby next to me, and of course blocked off against an area or the crib that the baby wouldn't fall or anything. We would make it work somehow. And at that time, we had a queen, or I think a queen size bed, and it fit, and we were fine that way. And she just kind of just stayed there, and we were fine with it and comfortable with it. And I just felt very natural about it, and I felt just at ease that she was next to me, and that I would wake up very easily if she did need to nurse, or if she was just uneasy. I felt really comfortable with it, especially when times, for all my kids, especially when they would be sick. It was just easier that way, especially if they had fevers or needed medication. I just felt so much more comfortable and at ease that they were right next to me if I needed to, to attend to them, or just to check up on them ever so often. So before my second daughter was born, my eldest was almost 18 months at the time, and we had upgraded to a huge king-size bed. We had initially knew that we were going to try to put our infant in the bassinet. At least we tried, and that only lasted a few days. Our main concern with co-sleeping with an infant while having a toddler was to make sure that the older child was not anywhere near the baby, and also we were worried about the idea if our older one would wake up or be disturbed by the baby waking up at odd hours of several hours and times of the night. But luckily enough for us, we never ran into any issues with the older child being disturbed by the baby waking up. And we always made sure to that our older child was on the other side of the bed, away from the infant. And although Malia was in the bassinet for a few days. It didn't last that long. I feel like I was just so used to the idea of the baby right next to me, and I just felt really natural and comforted by that it happened again on its own. Like I said, it doesn't work for everybody, and maybe even for some people it only work if you have one child, and maybe not if you have 2 or 3, but it worked out that way for us, and we felt really comfortable with it, and she was in our bed ever since. Moving on to when I had my third, I had 3 kids under 3, so I had my almost 3-year-old, my almost 17-month-old at the time, and then my infant, my son Dylan, when he came home. By that time we had already gotten rid of the bassinet and had gotten a side pack and play, those mini travel size pack and plays that you can convert into a bassinet. So he was actually, oddly enough, he stayed in there the longest, at least several weeks, maybe more than a month or so. But eventually he graduated into our bed, and we had the 2 older girls, and the bed is a lot bigger than you would think, especially that I'm short. My husband is the biggest person in the bed, and sometimes he kind of shifts his way. He works, I feel bad for him when he's sleeping, because he kind of like works his way to be comfortable enough so that we are all comfortable in the bed. So it'll always be like it was, at that time it was my son, and then me, and then the 2 girls, and then my husband would kind of fit in somewhere there, or like lay horizontally at the bottom of the bed, because it's very wide, and also in length it's equally as long always. And yeah, so until this day it has worked out that way for us. I know some of you may wonder, like, well, why don't they have their own room or whatever, but we don't have our living situation right now, we don't have the luxury of that. And even my husband and I say all the time, even if we did have, you know, a separate room aside for the kids, we feel like we'd still be doing this. And eventually when we do, you know, have, you know, a room for them to have on their own, we feel like we would be the ones that would be more comfortable if they were still with us. Of course, down the line, you know, we want them to graduate out of our bed, but we're in no rush to push them out. The girls do have their own bed. They have a day bed with a trundle underneath, because we knew that eventually they were going to use that, you know, down the road, especially as they grow. And although they both try to sleep in there, you know, be a big girl, the times that they do sleep in there, they might end up back in our beds. I hope you enjoyed this video. Just wanted to share my experiences. I've been wanting to do this on my main channel for a while, but I haven't gotten around to it, so I thought this is the perfect opportunity to share you know, my experience with this topic. And please leave comments down below and share your experiences with co-sleeping with me. I'm always open to hear other people's experiences and ideas. And once again, thank you so much for watching and supporting the 411 Mamas. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and like, comment, and subscribe, and also like our Facebook page. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.